What's up, everybody? We're stoked to be here on another T8 Outdoors podcast. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, you do me a massive favor. Hit that like, hit the subscribe button as well. By doing that, it's going to get the video into the algorithm, and more people are going to be able to watch this video and get the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that comes from the guests that are on this video, ones in the future and ones in the past. But I'm super pumped today. We got to talk about a super important subject. I got my buddy Jim Billingsly on the other line here with Cody, Louk, Dream Keepers Foundation. Jim, thank you for coming on, but if you could just tell everybody what the foundation is about, and we'll just keep going and rock and roll.
Sure. Hey, well, thanks, Derek, for having me on. It's important to get the word out for these foundations out to possibly help people, in need. It's kind of a drawn out way we got started. I'm a retired school teacher, but I taught school for 25 years here at Lowry High School in Winnemucca, Nevada, small school. The town's about 8,000 people. The high school, roughly 800 kids. And I started in a magazine, a class. It's called Northern Nevada Outdoors. And what we do is we publish a magazine that highlights hunting trips and stuff and fishing and outdoor activities in Northern Nevada, or pretty much all Nevada. But we did this with a class that I taught at the high school. And one of the members of that class his name was Cody Louk, and a great kid, a grade A student, football player, a two-time state wrestling champ, and just an outstanding kid. Well, unfortunately, a couple years after his graduation, he was involved in a car accident and a fatal car accident and died in that accident. And I thought, and I've always wanted to put together a foundation that would help kids, under the age of 18. And I had a couple of kids in mind that might be able to help. And some of the foundations don't participate in anything that has to do with guns or hunting or those kind of things. And I said, well, there's a lot of kids out there that would really enjoy and be able to embellish their lives if they could have a foundation that would help them like this. So we started the foundation, and we named it after Cody, in memory of Cody Louk. And so that's how we came up with the Cody Louk Dreamkeeper Foundation. Yeah, one of our first hunts. It took us a while to get things going and stuff, and to figure out just how we were going to do it. I received a grant that helped us get the foundation going, and our first recipient was a kid from Winnemucca. Loves the outdoor, loves to hunt. He was from a hunting family, but he had spinal bifida. I'm sorry, he had cerebral palsy, and when he was born, and was pretty limited to what he could do in a wheelchair. Had a hard time verbally speaking, really couldn't do much. And we thought this was my inspiration for getting this foundation going was Dylan Masto on this 12-year-old kid in Winnemucca. And so that was the first time that we actually awarded a hunt to Dylan, and it was a great success. And it started the way that we would raise money is we would go to we have a lot of grassroots organizations in Winnemucca, and we went to one of those organizations, Nevada Chucker Foundation, and asked if we could actually auction off a rifle that we would use the proceeds to kind of get this foundation going. And that night we had one rifle. It was donated back several times, and this was in the early 2000s, and we raised $10,000 that night off one gun. And that really kind of got things going for the foundation. Yeah, so that's how we kind of continue on from there. And it's just been a wonderful thing. We've helped close to 20 kids. And so that's kind of the backstory on how the foundation got started. And it's a 3-member board, myself, a guy that works for the Department of Wildlife here in Nevada, Brad Bauman, and another kid that was actually in the outdoor magazine, Northern Nevada Outdoors. And he is another one of our board members, and he is a master guide here in the state of Nevada. So it's very helpful to have him work with the kids, and we can use his license for insurance and those kind of things. So it's just been a great thing so far.
Takes a team, doesn't it?
It does. It's a small team, but usually when we have a hunt, there's a lot of people that want to come out and help. And so we've got a lot of volunteers that have come out and help do the cooking. If we camp, we have a trailer full of camping gear that we can actually dry camp somewhere. We get people to come that do the cooking for us and stuff. And then, of course, once we've harvested an animal, everyone's there to help out, and it's been a great opportunity for these kids. It's been a community, not only a Winnemucca community, but a statewide community that has really jumped in and helped out with this foundation. The magazine, as a matter of fact, we started that magazine, I think in 2001 was the first year we published a magazine, and it's still going strong here in 2020. This is 25 years we've been doing the magazine, and it has kind of become the magazine, hunting, fishing, outdoor magazine of Nevada. There's not many, and Northern Nevada Outdoors is one of them, and it's still going strong today.
I love to hear small success stories that just blow up and just keeping at it.
Yeah, since I
Crazy how time.
I retired from teaching 23 years ago, and I've still kept the magazine going, and for quite a few years, I would go to the school and actually teach the class 1 hour a day, and then now we actually have the kids. We have a large format printing shop, and we do awards and stuff at my private business now, and now we have a little classroom set up there where the kids come down and actually do the class right in my business, and now they have, like, it's a intern type of ship that internship that the kids get credits for to do the magazine, and it all ties in with the foundation, and it's really been a great opportunity for kids.
I love that, and I like how you tied it into where they're getting school credits for it. And it all started with the magazine. Huh? That's still going. I love it.
Started with a magazine. One of the superintendents at the high school or at the district saw a magazine of a school that was doing something similar to that in Georgia, and he brought the idea to me, and I said, "Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I'd like to do it," but it took me some work because the high school just wouldn't give me a classroom unless we had at least 13 kids in it to justify me as a teacher being used. I was a social studies teacher, taking me out of one of those classes to be able to teach the class. And we got the 13 kids, we got money behind it. And yeah, we haven't looked back, and it's morphed into helping the Dreamkeeper Foundation as well.
Awesome. And on the Dreamkeeper Foundation, you guys are based out of Nevada, correct?
Yeah, we're at a small town, Winnemucca, Nevada, in northern Nevada. We're on I-80, kind of between, if you go from Reno to Salt Lake, you'll run right through Winnemucca. And the
Awesome.
good
Yeah, I
thing
spent a
about
lot of
Winnemucca
time.
is we have a lot of, in Nevada, we have a lot of opportunity. There's 86% of the land in Nevada is public land. We have a lot of opportunity for these kids to go out, and if they don't have a ranch to hunt in, which is ideal because we can kind of control those situations if we have a ranch that has animals on it. But if not, we can go off private property and head the hills, and which we have done with several of our kids, and have hunted wildlife just on public land.
I feel like Nevada is an often underlooked state, and not a lot of people like when you're talking about big M, big deer, big elk, stuff like that. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Arizona, Utah, Colorado," but I feel like Nevada is kind of gets undersold.
Yeah, Nevada has a
Am
lot
I
of opportunity. We don't have a lot of wildlife, but our Department of Wildlife does a good job trying to get the quality of your hunt to a point where you have an opportunity to not see so many people and hopefully see more game than people. But we have a wild variety of game in Nevada. We have 3 species of sheep in Nevada. We have mountain goats. 2 years ago, we had our first moose hunt. These moose have kind of worked their way down in from Idaho and Utah. Now we can actually have a population that we can hunt. You get 2 tags, so it's very hard to draw, but we have that, and we have the mule deer, antelope, all kinds of elk, big elk. So yeah, we do a lot of hunting here in Nevada that a lot of people don't realize. Las Vegas is not the only town in Nevada, the only area in Nevada. We're like 7 hours from Las Vegas, driving. So we're pretty far north. We're like 70 miles from Oregon and Idaho, and so we're right up there in that corner. High desert country. We're 4,300 feet the elevation. We get all the weather you'd want: snow, rain, and then it can get a little warm too. But we'll have the temperature drop 50 degrees from daytime highs to nighttime lows because of the high elevation. It's called high desert. It's a great place to be.
Yeah, man, you're sell. I'm looking to move out from where I am. You're kind of selling me on this spot
Yeah.
with with this with this foundation. And how many is there? What's the age limit to be it kind of like put in an application?
Yeah, we first started, like I said, with our first guy that we were looking at, Dylan. in a wheelchair and pretty severely in a wheelchair. So, but we made it anyone under 18. So it's not an adult hunt; it's a youth hunt, and all they have to do is have some kind of disability. At first, we were all thinking about wheelchair types of kids, but since then we've gone on to kids that have been diagnosed with cancer, that are battling cancer. We had a kid last year. We took on 2 hunts. We're able to offer him it's kind of a kid that my son played football and went to school at a small college in Eastern Oregon called LeGrand, the town LeGrand, and he got to know quite a few people there. And some of his football teammate called me and said, "Hey, we got a great kid down here in LeGrand. He just got diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer, and we would love to see if maybe we could get him a hunt." So I said, "Sure thing." He's a great kid. He's a football player, a wrestler, a baseball player. His dad's the baseball coach at the local high school there. Great family and well deserving of a hunt. And so me and my son Jace went up to LeGrand, and hey, Jace was kind of a legendary. He's a good football player. Actually played 3 years in the National Football League. And so we went up to LeGrand to give him. We had 2 tags. We had an antelope tag and a mule deer tag. So we kind of tricked him into coming to dinner, saying that Jace was coming through town, and myself, we wanted to take him out to dinner, and just kind of like wish him well. And while we are at the dinner there, we I told him, I said, "Well, we kind of brought you here on false pretenses, Cade. We got an antelope hunt and a deer hunt from the Dreamkeeper Foundation in Nevada, and we'd like you to pick one of them." And I showed him a picture of the different animals we've taken for each species. And he goes, "Boy, I just don't know if I could decide right now on which hunt I'd like to be on." And I go, "Well, I tell you what," I said, "it looks like you're having a hard decision. Why don't you just take both hunts?" So we gave him an antelope hunt and a mule deer hunt in Nevada, and he smoked 2 monster animal. He killed 80, 87-inch antelope and a 30-inch mule deer. So yeah, and since then he had gone on a sheep hunt, and all that stuff's on YouTube. And matter of fact, my YouTube channel has most of the Dreamkeeper hunts on that. And if you want to look that up, it's 4 Rams, the number 4 Rams, RAMS 0, 4 Ram 0 on YouTube. And that has all these Dreamkeeper, because we like to film every single hunt that we do.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, that's cool. Sounds like this kid struck a pot of gold. But I don't know if we touch. So is your foundation? It's children only, right? Like there's an age cutoff.
Under 18, and here in Nevada, you have to be 12 years old to hunt big game. But we've actually taken a kid that was suffering. He had a brain tumor, and we took him on a mule deer hunt, killed a nice mule deer. And then 2 years later, we took him and his brother. His brother's fine, but we've realized during these hunts that even though the child is battling these diseases or he's handicapped, the family is impacted. The whole family is impacted by these illnesses or these disabilities. And so we've actually taken some siblings on a hunt as well. We took these 2 kids to California and gave them a turkey hunt, because we realized that, the whole family is inflicted or suffering by these diseases or these disabilities. And so we've done that. But they have to be in Nevada, you have to be at least 12 years old. You have to have your hunter safety card. Then other than that, we take care of everything. We take care of transportation to Nevada or wherever we're hunting. We take care of their license, hunting license and fees. And we put them up, room and board. Matter of fact, I think you've talked to Tucker on your podcast, and he came all the way from
He's a
South Carolina,
troublemaker.
and we paid for him to come out here. Now, Tucker, he's a character.
He's a troublemaker, that's for sure. I know Tucker listens to this podcast, so you better listen to this, Tucker. Clean your act up.
Yeah, he's a good kid. My man now, he's getting older.
Amazing kid. He
But
smoked an
if
absolute
you have
giant mule
anybody,
deer.
boy, yeah, that was the same place that this kid last year took his mule deer. We've got a great family, the Todd Jasic family, and they've got a ranch right on the California-Nevada border, and he gets a few landowner tags. In Nevada, what they do is if you have so many animals that are on your farm eating your crops, for every 50 animals they count, and the Department of Wildlife actually counts them. for every 50 animals, they are awarded one landowner tag. And they can do with those landowner tags, they can do whatever they want with them. And most of the people sell them for compensation of their loss of crops. Todd and his family they usually get two or three uh, tags a year. And for the last 10 years, he's dedicated one of those tags for the Dreamkeeper Foundation. And he's got some big mule deer on this place. And that's the only reason he has that ranch. He is for mule deer. And yeah, what a great opportunity for these kids, not only to go out for a hunt, but actually to be able to harvest, you know, a trophy animal. As a matter of fact, we have a boy from Alabama coming out this year, and he's going to hunt mule deer on the same property.
That the math throws me off. So every 50 animals, you get one landowner tag. Like, I still feel like that's just way too many animals and too little of tags. Or is that just, am I just thinking too much into it, or?
Well, not really. That's kind of what the commission decided, because some people don't like that. They think that they're making money off Nevada wildlife, but you have to take into account that they're feeding the wildlife in Nevada. These animals come off the mountain in bad times, and they go on these fields, and they do quite a bit of damage to these fields. So it's a way because a rancher, if he wanted to, he could go in there and shoot every one of them if he wanted to. So we don't want that. So what's worked out was this landowner compensation plan that, like I said, it could be mule deer, it could be antelope, it's elk. There's land compensation tags for all those species, and for every 50 animals, you get one tag. And it really is not a lot for the landowner, but it helps preserve those animals so that it keeps people from just going in there and killing them all. And he's feeding our wildlife, so why not compensate him?
Yeah, no, I definitely get it. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, I've seen some herds that are just like huge, and I just feel like one tag per 50 animals doesn't put much of a dent in the population. But I don't
Well,
know.
we
I'm just
really
thinking
don't want
out
to
loud.
yeah. No, I get it. We don't want to put a dent in the population. We just want to compensate those ranchers for feeding the animals. And remember, Nevada doesn't have the animals that, where are you from, Derek? What state are
I
you
live in
from?
Southern California.
Okay,
California.
okay. That's right. Yeah, you told me that. And even California, they regulate their animals as well. In Nevada, there's no over-the-counter tags. You can't shoot any animal over the counter, just go buy a tag. They've all got to be by a lottery draw, which, as a matter of fact, is coming out probably by this week for Nevada. So I'm kind of anxious about that. So that's how they draw the tags. The only animal you can get a tag over the counter is a mountain lion tag. That's the only one, which is, everybody
Oh, I
has a
love
mountain
it.
lion tag, but not very many people see them.
Yeah, no, but guarantee they see you.
No, I guarantee you.
Yeah, it just, I always wondered. And so I always, people often ask me on hunting trips, they're like, why do you carry a firearm with you if you're going hunting deer? Like, the deer aren't gonna hurt you. I'm like, I'm not worried about the deer. I'm worried about that, 6-foot lion that just thinks that I'm, in a wheelchair, small frame, and he could take me out to dinner, dude. But yeah, they're a beautiful animal, and it's definitely one on the bucket list for me. But so with your foundation, like you said, you take care of the finances for travel, room and board, all that stuff. And are you guys, do you receive grants every year to keep the foundation running, or is it like private donations, or?
It's well, what we do, and it's pretty amazing. One time a year, we go to one of these local uh, conservation groups. We use Nevada Muleys, which is a grassroots organization created here in Winnemucca, and they don't get paid anything. All the money that they raise goes back into the state of Nevada. A lot of it for water development, because Nevada's, if not one of the driest states in the union. In Winnemucca, our average rainfall for the year is like 8 inches. So these animals need water enhancement, and we do things in Nevada. They're called guzzlers, which they build a big apron, gathers the water, puts them in tanks, and hopefully that provides enough water for these animals during the dry season. So a lot of the money that these organizations, Nevada Muleys, the Nevada Chucker Foundation, another foundation created here in Winnemucca, And then we go to Elko for Nevada Bighorns Unlimited Elko. They have a big fundraiser dinner. These are all fundraiser dinners that they have. And we use those three entities to go, and we actually, they usually donate a gun that we auction off. And sometimes it gets pretty crazy, but we only auction it off 4 times because these people are there to make money for wildlife too. So we kind of skip every year. We go to a different one of those three organizations, and they allow us to come in there, and we average anywhere from $10,000 to $16,000 a not each event for one gun. So these people in northern Nevada are extremely generous, and yeah, they'll donate the auction. They'll bid on this gun up to $4,000, win it, donate it back.
Whatever.
It's pretty crazy. And so that's our revenue source right there. We don't go out, we don't try anything else. That's our revenue source. So if we generate up to uh, you know, to $16,000 a year, that's more than enough to provide hunting opportunities for 1 or 2 hunts every year, and that's about what we do is 1 or 2 hunts a year. And our problem is finding hunters. The way kids are these days and all the gadgets they have and those kind of things. Yeah, we're really losing a generation of hunters in the United States, and so that's one of the reasons I created the Northern Nevada Outdoors magazine was to help promote youth in hunting, and the Dreamkeeper Foundation to help youth that are disabled to come help to be able to hunt. And so we really gotta work on getting that generation back, and hopefully these kind of things that we do is helpful for that. But the problem is a lot of these kids don't hunt anymore. We're losing that generation. So that's why this podcast hopefully helps us. People see this, want to reach out to us, and so that we can help them. And if you go to our Cody Louk Dreamkeeper Foundation.com, there's a link on that Dreamkeeper page for an application that you can fill out, and it has all the information on where you send it to. And then we take it to our board, we look it over, and I don't think there's been a kid denied just yet that's had some kind of difficulties that we haven't awarded a hunt to. And so, yeah, that's how we generate money, and that's how we get kids. But like I said, podcasts like this, and there's a lot of organizations that have been created in the last 25 years to help kids and help disabled people, to help kids with that are battling cancer or some kind of disease. These kids and people just need to know about it, and hopefully this will help me and you get the word out to other people.
Trying my best, brother. That's the whole reason I started the podcast was getting a lot of people just messaging me on Instagram like, "Hey, I'm disabled. How do I get outdoors?" Or my kid, my daughter, my son, like, I want to get them outdoors. They really love hunting, but we don't know how to do it. So by starting this and then getting them to you, it's it's paid back in full, like that's the main reason. It's fun too. I get to talk deer hunting stories or just hunting stories with random strangers and feel like we're family, and just getting into that deer camp vibe and just start swapping stories.
Right.
Awesome, Jim. I really love what you guys got going on over there. I'll be doing what I can do, but what really sells it is, can you share some cool hunting stories that from the kids that have taken any animals that you been a part of?
Well, that's part of the thing we do with these like you mentioned, they're good hunting stories, and kind of what the payment is for these kids to go on these hunts is they have to write a story for my magazine. And so most of these kids make the cover of the magazine after their hunt, and then they write a story about it, and it's pretty I tell you what, it's to be on one of these hunts and to see these kids fulfill their dreams. And I've seen parents, that never thought that their child or son or daughter would be able to do something like this, to be able to go out and hunt and just be a regular guy or gal. uh, they After one of our antelope hunts, one of the dads was there, and he just started crying. He goes, "Look at this, I guess my son, who was recently disabled, can still do things." And so sometimes it's more therapeutical for the family and the parents than it is for the kid. And so that's always a very rewarding thing for these foundations to get happen.
Yeah, these disabilities, they don't just like you said earlier, they don't just affect the person with the disability, it's an entire family operation, and, since when I broke my back and ended up in a wheelchair, I knew it affected my entire family, and my family,
No, I bet.
praise God, we're there for me, and they showed up, and mom and dad mainly, but, yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah, amazing. And that's like you mentioned earlier, how the whole family gets to be a part of these adventures, and it's really an eye opener, and
Yeah,
just
and
to
we've
get away from the disability for a day or two or X amount of hours
no,
means a lot.
it does. Even just for a weekend or a little 3-day hunting trip, it makes a big difference. And some of these parents, they just don't. We have a pretty good system. We have a track chair that we use for some kids. We have an automated arm that we put the gun on that can be run by a toggle switch. That we have a gun that's hooked up that Bluetooths to a iPad or a phone, so the kid can actually toggle to where and put the crosshairs right on the animal. Then we have a micro switch that all the kid just has to do is just touch that thing, and it shoots the rifle. And so they are very much involved because some of these kids, they cannot shoulder a rifle. They just don't have the
Yeah.
ability to do that. And so a lot of parents that want to take their kids hunting, they go, well, how am I going to take my kid hunting? He can't do any of those things. We have the ability to do that for kids that have extreme disabilities and stuff, so we can help do that. As a matter of fact, a lot of our kids that we've taken out hunting for the one Dreamkeeper hunt, they've called us afterwards and they draw a deer tag in Nevada. Or we just had a kid from Idaho that drew a antelope tag, but they don't have the ability to go out and really do it. So they call us and we just go up there. It's not like a Dreamkeeper hunt. We just load the chair on the trailer, we go up there, and we just go hunting with them like they're our buddies. And our foundation is kinda like that. It's not a big deal. We're not making a big production about it, but we want the bill or the hunt to be like, "Hey, we're just gonna go hunt with our buddies." And, I think that's kinda what they get from our foundation. They go out there and they hunt with their buddies. The kids that we've had a kid that's drawn deer tags. We're his buddy, we just go out and hunt with him. It's not like, he has to apply for a tag or anything. We don't put any money into it. We just go out there and take our chair and stuff and hunt with the kids just like he's our hunting buddy. And, so that's been pretty rewarding. And like I said, these kids wouldn't have the opportunity to be able to hunt unless we were there to help them with the chair and with our guns and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was one of my next questions is how you guys do a lot of the hunting, like equipment wise. Are any of these hunts or a lot of these, I don't know, whatever, but are you shooting out of a car, or are you getting out, setting up, sitting in a blind? How are you guys doing your thing?
Yep, all of the above. Because in Nevada,
Yeah,
it's
right.
legal for a disabled person to be able to hunt out of a truck. So what we normally do on some of our hunts for antelope, especially where we're hunting in the field, and we've even done this up in the mountain, but we put him in the back of a truck in the chair, and we have Cody, our master guide. He's real good with kids and he's real patient, and we actually use that. And we have to have a driver, and that driver is pretty important to kind of move the truck into a position where
Very
the
important.
chair is facing the animal, and I'm usually the film guy. And so we do that, and then Cody's on the gun with the kid, and we have a chair, and it's got like we call it a crazy switch, and so the kid can't accidentally hit that trigger unless we've got a safety switch there that we click on that activates the trigger so that he doesn't get excited before the shot and hit that micro switch to shoot. But that's how we do it. We've done it in chairs like that, and it's been very, very successful because, like I said, in Nevada, it is legal to hunt from an automobile if you have a disability. But like Tucker's hunt, the one that killed that big mule deer that was on your podcast earlier, we saw his deer that he was after early in the morning. We couldn't get on him in time from the truck, and he went out into the sagebrush, and they bed down all day long, especially the big bucks. So we figured out. Usually, we know this property pretty well. We knew where they go into the sagebrush. They normally come out about the same area. So we went and set him up to where we'd be within a 200-yard shot from that animal when he came out. And we have the gripper tripod that we
Right.
can that we
Gripping grip.
the bog pod we stick right there. And so he was stable. He's in the chair. We had the tripod all set around him. He was set in the area that the deer was going to come out. Cody was helping him with the chair. I had the camera rolling, and it took geez, almost we sat there for probably 5 hours waiting for him, that we didn't want him to come out early and we not be ready. And it rained on us, which is pretty cool because there's a nice rainbow in the background when that buck came out. But he came out about 500 yards, and I looked at Cody, and we have the gun to shoot it. You know, we've got one that's a guy here in Nevada made for us. He's Ace Rifles, a hell of a rifle maker if you ever in the need for a long shooting rifle. Because in Nevada, we shoot a long distance. You know, a 400-yard shot is not out of reach here in Nevada, that's for sure. So
Right.
he was set up, and from South Carolina, you don't get those kind of long shots. But he came out,
Mm-mm.
and I looked at Cody, and we raised him. I go, Cody goes, he's 500 yards away. And I go, well, that gun will do the trick if he's steady enough. And I've watched a Tucker, and we've had him dry fire some things, and I watched him to see just how he would handle behind the rifle. And I mean, he's got, ice in his veins. I mean, that kid is rock solid. So he had him out there. He ended up being a 521 yards and broadside, and I go, "How do you feel, Tucker?" He goes, "I'm right on him." And so he squeezed that trigger, and you couldn't have placed a quarter in a better spot than where that bullet hit. He went 30, 40 yards and piled up, and the celebration was on then. Yeah, so that's one way that we do it. If we can find a situation, we've had several kids that we've harvested some animals that way and setting in a blind and just kind of wait for them to come out. And it's very successful. But and Tucker, his upper mobility is fine. He didn't have to use the chair or the robotics. He just did that all himself. So kids like that, they can really work out of a blind a lot better than some of the kids.
You know what? I love one of my favorite things in the world is just sitting in a blind out in nature, hunting, waiting for something to come. Even if something doesn't come, I'm just sitting in a blind, just sitting there, ready for whatever. And people are like, "Oh, don't you get bored?" And I'm like, no, the whole point is your life is just go, 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 go all the time, and too many people, X, Y, Z, and then you just get to sit in the blind and you get to throw all that stuff out the window. That's my
Yeah,
favorite part.
we don't yeah, no, I hear you. I'm not a big blind guy because in Nevada, we do a lot of spot and stock. We don't have whitetail in Nevada, so, you know, there's not a lot of need for sitting in a blind waiting for a deer to come, but there are places, like for elk, they sit on water, these guzzlers, these water enhancement things we talked about. Antelope are good to hunt in the blind with, like, a bow. My son killed a nice antelope a few years ago, sitting in a blind with his bow. But, yeah, there's definitely a purpose for blinds. But yeah, it in Nevada, it gets pretty boring because there's not a lot of animals, so you do a lot of scouting before to figure out just where you wanna set up that blind, and hopefully it works out, and sometimes blind hunting in Nevada is very effective, but not a lot of blind hunt, a lot of spot and stalk animals here in Nevada.
Yeah, it doesn't really work for me. I don't like the spot and stock. It's too boring. No, that's cool. Yeah, no, like I like how you guys do that. You do whatever scenario it takes to get the animal harvested, you figure it out and you make it work. When you're spot and
Yeah, you
stock
get
and you're driving
flexible.
in blinds.
Yeah. In Nevada, we do a lot of glassing, a lot of time behind the spot and scope, looking for animals and stuff in Nevada because it's wide open. There's very few trees where we're from, a lot of high sagebrush, rim rock stuff that we hunt if you're just a regular hunter. But fortunately, we've had these landowners around here. If we have an antelope tag, and usually the antelope tags, we usually purchase a landowner tag. A Todd with his deer tag, where his deer usually donates that tag. If he was to sell that tag, he could probably get $12,000 for it. It's that good of a tag.
Right.
And the
Easily.
antelope tags, we buy a landowner tag, and the landowners are real good because what in Nevada, if you have a landowner tag, you don't have to hunt that property. You can hunt the whole unit. So you've got a lot of options out there. And just because we got a landowner tag on this guy's ranch doesn't mean the guy next to you, if you ask him can we hunt your property? We see an antelope, we've got a disabled kid. They're usually pretty good about letting us hunt in there as well. Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunities for that.
No, that's really cool. Yeah, it seems, it tugs on the heartstrings of a lot of people, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would deny people just because they don't want hunting, but it's it's cool just to get, to get, like I said earlier, just to give people a break from the day-to-day grind of having to deal with, a severe disability and with family and stuff like that. So that's cool. Like I said earlier, it takes an army to get this stuff done, and I appreciate you guys what you're doing out there.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a great experience for everyone that gets involved in it. And there's a just so your viewers know, there's another organization here in Nevada called Nevada Outdoorsmen in Wheelchairs, and that's they take anybody, not just kids under 18. And we work hand in hand with those guys. Before we had our first hunter, we actually teamed up with Nevada Outdoorsmen in Wheelchairs and helped them. Their hunter, a young kid, he happened to be a young kid, harvest an animal. They had a tag, but they really didn't know where to go. We knew landowners out here, so we got him on a ranch, and actually killed his first antelope. So we work together. But those guys are very good, and what they do is you just apply, and they've got a website, Nevada Outdoorsmen in Wheelchairs, and adult, kids, doesn't matter. And all they do is they get about, I think, 5 or 6 antelope tags a year, and they actually have gotten elk tags. And so what they do is they just draw the names out of a bucket. So you've got a pretty good chance of getting an antelope tag, but you have to apply. So if you know anybody that wants to come out, like maybe you, put in for an antelope tag with the Bad Outdoorsmen in Wheelchairs, and you get drawn, then they pay for your way out here and everything. It's a good hunt. I'll even go with you.
I've applied, man. I'm waiting for my name to get pulled. I've applied. We'll
Have
see
you
how we'll see
applied
how
for
it
Nevada
goes in the
Outdoorsman?
future.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that I'd be super excited just to get in the field. I love just getting in the field. I got pretty skunked on tag pulling this year around, but I pulled a whitetail tag in Kansas. So I mean, yeah, Kansas. So that's gonna be cool. I'm excited about.
Oh yeah. Well, whitetail, with disabilities, that's a good hunt to have because you're probably going to be in the stand, and set up and ready to go.
Oh yeah, yeah. Blind central, but it's just it, it's different kind of hunting. It's just a different kind of hunting. I can do both. Like from what I've been learned, like sitting in a wheelchair, like I said earlier, sitting in a blind, doing nothing, I'm completely content with. I also like, getting in my car. That's my spot and stock. Getting in the car, driving around, getting up on a knob, glassing for days. And I
Yeah,
it's all fun, like but a lot of, being in a wheelchair, some of it's not feasible or the animals aren't, able to get to them, but it's just being outdoors, hunting, and the people you're with.
that's what it's
It's a
all
great
about, buddy.
time.
That's what you want to do. Yeah, I've been in
And
the
yeah,
blind. I've hunted whitetail in Canada when it's like 5 degrees out, sitting in the blind all day long. In a snowstorm. But that's how you got to do it. Sometimes that's just the opportunities you have, and that's what you have to do. Uh, and I was on a hunt filming a guy's hunt, a sheep hunt, desert sheep hunt in Nevada. They have auction tag they call the heritage or the governor's tag, where people actually bid on these hunts and they can get the tag and they can hunt all over the state any season. And they're going for like 200 grand nowadays and stuff. But I was with this guy that bought this tag, and I was filming for him, and we were in a blind down by Vegas in August at 110 degrees in a blind for 12 hours. That wasn't fun. But we saw a lot of sheep, just not the one that he really wanted. But yeah, sometimes you just have to bite it and get in that blind and wait it out.
yeah, just get it over with, get it done. I love it. You got any more cool stories for us? I'm just sorry if you see me looking off to the side. I'm looking at your social media and looking at some of these deer that these kids are no joke. Mule deer. You guys have put down some big deer.
Yeah, that like I said, that ranch that Todd lets us hunt is pretty amazing. Yeah, so we're gonna back there this year, and we're probably not gonna kill the biggest buck out there because they want to keep that breeding stock going, but we're gonna get a nice buck for this boy from Alabama as well. So we're really looking forward to that. That's our fun hunt of the year, is that one right there. Yeah, these all they gotta do is go out, get on that website, apply, and chances are we'll get you a hunt one way or the other.
So can you run the website by us one more time for the listeners in case they forgot? You guys get a pen and paper, write this down.
Sure, it's Cody, Cody, Louk, Louk, Dreamkeeper Foundation. Cody Louk. It's kind of a hard, it's Louk, Cody Louk Dreamkeeper Foundation. Get on there, and there's a tab there in the menu for application. Hit on that, print that application out, fill it out, send it in to us, and we can go from there. If you want to just call me and ask me what a little bit more about the hunt, you can call me at 775 304 3003. That's 775-304-3003. And if you really want to see what our hunts are all about, get on that YouTube channel, or Rams Zero on YouTube. And there's not only the Dreamkeeper hunts, but for quite a while there, I was producing outdoor videos, hunting videos, and there are sheep hunts, all kinds of good hunts on that channel, as well as the Dreamkeeper hunts. So get on there, check them out, and I think you'll be pretty impressed by how we get this stuff done out here in Northern Nevada.
Yeah, it looks like you guys got a top-notch operation going on. I'm super excited, and hopefully I could make a bridge for a hunter and you guys. That'd be great.
Yeah. Like I said, our Facebook page is just Cody Louk Dreamkeeper Foundation, same as the website. Look that up on Facebook. I'm not a real active social media guy, but there's some stuff on there, some information to see some of the stuff we've been harvesting, and yeah, we'd love to help any kid under the age of 18 that wants to come out here and fulfill their hunting dreams. So yeah, we want to help as many kids as we can, and hopefully this is going to help us get some more applications. And like I said, us and the Nevada Outdoorsmen in Wheelchairs, we work together. So a lot of times, if they get a kid under the age of 18 that applies for their hunts, they'll just ship them over to us, and then that'll open up a spot for someone else on their foundation. But we work hand in hand together, and they're great guys. You'll have a good time with whoever organization you go to. And there's a lot of them out there now.
Right. That's why I gotta tell people we live in a great day and age to be able to find information and be able to find foundations like yours all over the country. And that's one thing I'm trying to do with this podcast, is interview as many of them as possible and just build a database so people could just go on and click their state. Hopefully once that starts getting up and running, it'll be useful. But I'm super excited. Jim, I want to thank you for coming on, bud. Thank you for sharing your message behind your foundation. And if you guys want to get a hold of him, he already shot you his information, but I'm going to put all the contact information for Dreamkeeper Foundation, Cody Louk Dreamkeeper Foundation, in the subscription below. All the information below this video. You guys got to check it out. It'll be in there, and we'll rock and roll. But at the end of the podcast, I don't know if you guys have been watching this, but I always lift up a quick word of prayer just for blessing whoever's on the other line, blessing the podcast, and whoever's listening to this. So if you guys want to join me, it's fine. If not, do your thing, go your way. But I'm going to lift up a quick prayer. If you don't mind, Jim, I'm going to just give it up. Father God, thank you so much for the blessings you've given us. Thank you so much, Lord, for foundations like the Cody Louk Dreamkeeper Foundation and Jim, and the hard work they've been putting in for these children, Lord God. And I pray that we will be able to be blessed to see your creation, see the love that you've given us, Lord God, and that you put these people in our lives, Lord. I pray blessings over the Cody Louk Dreamkeeper Foundation. Let them keep kicking butt the way they are, God. And I just thank you so much for what you do. And whoever needs to hear this, Lord, I pray that you would put them in our path, and that we could keep showing the love and keep on keeping on, Lord. So I just want to thank you. And as I pray all this in your son's just name, amen.
Hey, Derek, could I say one more thing?
Please lift it up, buddy.
I'd be remiss if I didn't thank a couple of people that help our foundation. Like I said, we've got all these organizations that help us raise money, but we also have some people. Joe Williams from One Rate Gear, he's the guy that he established a company called One Rate Gear, WONRATE Gear. Get on that website. He provides all the hunting gear for these kids that go on our hunts, and he's been a real great supporter for us. And he makes a great product at a cheaper price. And so get on that website, onerategear.com. Check out his stuff. Like I said, he helps us out. I want to help him out. We have another guy that he donates all the mounts for these kids. So these kids will get a mount free of charge that we will do for them either at their taxidermist in their hometown, or we have a guy named Alan Burrell out of Sparks, Nevada, Fern Feathers Taxidermy, who does all the mounts for free for these kids. So I I gotta give a shout out to those guys because they're great guys and great people, and they're very supportive of the foundation. So I just want to say thank you to those guys. Thank you to the Chucker Foundation, the Nevada Muleys, Nevada Bighorns, all the people that have been involved, all the people that have helped out with our foundation, the Jasic family. So thanks to all these people, and thank you, Derek, for putting me on and hopefully spreading the word.
Just having fun with it, buddy. We'll
All
see how it
right,
goes.
keep it up.